Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Tom and welcome back to a brand new video, and this is episode number 9 of Zero to Hero, and we are here for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I can't wait for this race, guys. In the V6 era, this race has been an absolute cracker, and I'm hoping this race is no different, and I'm hoping it's an incredible race. Last time out, guys, spoiler alert, we did get our first win of the season at Silverstone in my home race, and as you can see, looking at the setup, the upgrades have been applied to the setup here, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this can help us, especially around the track that doesn't really need a lot of straight line speed, so we might be able to get away with that fairly default setup. So fingers crossed that is the case, and we can really have a charge and really push up for the race win here at Hungary. But as you can see, we're on the back of the grid, starting on the option tyre, and fingers crossed we can really pull off something out the bag here. Obviously, Hungary is known as Monaco without the barriers, but fingers crossed, I feel like we can do this. I think we've got enough potential in the car, and I think, you know, we've got enough pace around here to really make some damage and really have a push for that race win here at Hungary. And also on the strategy front, I think we're going to try and go for one less stop than a lot of the AR cars, so that's going to be the plan. And here we go then, we're going to gear up to the 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we're going to get underway here as the lights go out, and we get a pretty decent start actually off the line here, making our way now down into turn number 1, now getting through the gears, and we're now going to have to wait for the braking point of the first corner and try and be quite ballsy on the brakes here and try and dive one up the inside. And here we go then, already getting past both Manners and both of the McLarens, and I had a little look up the inside of Hulkenberg there, but there was no room through as he shut the door on me. But here we go, pretty good exit out of turn 2 actually. We managed to stay ahead of both Manners and McLarens as we now make our way into turn number 3, and we're going around the outside of Hulkenberg and Marcus Ericsson here. Can we make it possibly stick here? Three wide into this corner. I have to back out of that for now. I just have to back out of that because that was too risky. It could have been a massive accident, so I had to back out of that and also let Marcus Ericsson back through there just to avoid any sort of major contact now as we make our way through turn 5, and we're still in the back of Ericsson here, and we're going to try and size him up for a move as we pull off a lovely little switchback here, as you can see, in a beautiful line. We're going to try and dive one up the inside of the chicane here. Yes, we are. We're going to go nice and late onto the brakes here, up the inside of the chicane, leaving Marcus Ericsson in the room on the inside there, but it doesn't matter because I think he spun out anyway. There's yellow flags, and we're going to look at a quick replay here and see exactly what happened to Marcus Ericsson, but I could have sworn I left him in the room on the outside, or on the inside, sorry, but let's have a look here. As you can see, going on the outside of the corner there, he just gets all over the curb, and actually it seems to upset the balance of the car, and he goes straight into my side pod there, so I probably just have to race the incident, if not Marcus's fault, because I left him in the room, so all he had to do was just go through the chicane nicely and not nice and normally, but that wasn't the case with him. But here we go, moving later on onto the start of lap 2. We're still on the back of Nico Hulkenberg here, but eventually we are going to try and get past him as we pull off a beautiful little line through turn 1 and get some brilliant drive on the exit of the corner here as we go side by side into turn 2 here. And can we hold on to the outside here, around the outside of Nico Hulkenberg? Yes, we do. Easy move on the German and a fantastic overtake overall. But we're now moving later on that lap, and we're on the back of Felipe Nasr here. There's a little bit of a train on track here just in front. I think it's a Williams actually who's holding up. I think the Williams ahead are battling for position, but meanwhile we're going to go up the inside of Nasr and also have a look up the inside of Danny Kvyat here. And can we possibly make the move stick here? No, we can't. Kvyat just gets the better drive on the exit of the corner there, and we're going to have to yield the position for now as we go around the outside, but there's no room through, and we're just going to have to hold back for now in P13 as Rosberg sets the fastest lap of the race up front and really setting the pace for this Grand Prix as we now go through the final corner onto the exit here. DRS not yet enabled, so we're going to have to wait for that for a little while, but here we go, putting off some great slipstream on Danny Kvyat right on his gearbox here into the first corner. Can we make the move up the inside? It should be fairly easy, and indeed it is. And we're also going to overtake Carlos Sainz as well, so both Toro Rossos, 2 for the price of 1 into the braking zone of turn 1, but Sainz has actually come back us on the exit of the first corner here into now the left-hander of turn 2 or turn 3 depending on how you call it, and we're actually going to get a brilliant little line through turn 3, switching back on sides here, and we've got so much more momentum on the Spanish driver here. Can we possibly pull off the move? No, we can't, and we've got to move later on onto that lap, onto the end of lap 3 here, and let's see if this time we can try and pull off the move here on the Spanish driver as we pull to the inside, and this should be a fairly textbook move up the inside of this right-hander here, and indeed it is, as we make a simple overtake on the Spanish driver there for P10, and we're into the points now for the first time this race as we move later on to the end of lap 4, so exactly 1 lap later, and we've caught up to Kevin Magnussen here in P9 for Renault, actually having a pretty decent race, both for the Renaults, Jolyon Palmer just up the road there, but here we go, we're going to try and go around the outside to then pull off a lovely little switchback on Magnussen through the final corner, and this is going to be a drag race into the first corner here. You can see that Renault's actually a little bit faster than me in a straight line, but we've both got DRS, and I'm just going to tuck back in for a little bit more slipstream and then pull back out again and make the move out the inside of turn 1, just like Valtteri Bottas has done on Julian Palmer just up the road there, and that's up into P9 now. So really making some great progress here so far at Hungary. We're well into the points now. As you can see, there's all 3-car train here. If we can get past these 3 guys and get some clean air, we can try and do some damage and attack those guys at the front of the field here, as we put off a lovely move on Sergio Perez here, just really literally getting so much more traction through the corner. And this time, unlike Marcus Ericsson, Perez backs out, decides not to go side by side with me through the chicane there, and we're now up in the P8. And later on that lap, we're on the back of Julian Palmer here, and are we going to do the exact same carbon copy move as we did to Kevin Magnussen? We're going to have to wait and see, but here we go. We're going to try and go around the outside of the final corner here. We've actually got the speed just about, and Palmer's going to try and fight here as he squeezes us out right onto the curb there. Side by side action now down the pit straight here, giving the main fans at the main grandstand an absolute show here as we now go into turn 1. We're going to switch back and go to the inside there because Palmer is actually pulling ahead in a straight line, so a very risky move there. And now on board with Sergio Perez, you can see he gets spun out by Julian Palmer there, so there's contact between the two of them, and Perez then has more contact later on with the Sauber. That could have been a terrible crash there between the two of them, but luckily enough, not any major damage in that crash. But as you can see later on now, moving on to the start of lap 7, and we do the exact same carbon copy as we did to Kevin Magnussen a couple of laps ago. So we put off a lovely little switchback on Valtteri Bottas through the final corner, and we're going to do a little bit of a drag race into the first corner here, and we're just going to outbrake the Finnish driver into turn 1 nice and easy, and that is us up in the P6 now. So some great progress so far, and we're only on lap 7, so we've got plenty of laps left in this Grand Prix to try and do some more damage as we move later on to the end of lap 9. And we've caught up to Bottas' teammate Felipe Massa, and he's actually going to peel off into the pit lane there, so he's going to give us a little bit of DRS for nothing, and he's also going to peel off to give us a free track. So that is fantastic for us, and a perfect optimization of time as we come across the line. And we've got a couple of cars in the pit lane here, so we're going to get up into P4, and now it's just a question of trying to drag out this stint a little bit here. And on the end of lap 11, we've done exactly that as we're now coming into the pit lane for our first stop of the race, and I believe that's Ricciardo as well coming in with us. So we've got a little bit of a pit stop battle on our hands here at the Hungaroring, and as you can see, Ricciardo's already servicing his pit stop. We're going to come in just ahead of him here, and it's probably most likely Ricciardo's going to stay ahead, and there he goes. He shoots off down the distance. We get our pit stop done. We go on to another set of the yellow wall soft tyres, and hopefully we can push on with these and really make a crack for that top 5 and see if we can try and really make some serious progress here, because I feel like we've got some good pace and we've got plenty of laps here to try and win the Grand Prix. I genuinely think we can do this, guys. So let's see how this all pans out and how it all unfolds as we rejoin just behind, I believe, Felipe Massa. So he's managed to stay ahead of us because he pit 2 laps before. As you can see now on the start of lap 13, Vettel's into the pit lane there, so Vettel's had some sort of crash this race or something, because he's only pitting for the first time now, so he's miles behind on the racetrack, so something's going on for Sebastian Vettel there. But meanwhile, we're going to try and pull off a move here on Felipe Massa as we dive one up the inside of turn 1, and I believe Max Verstappen's actually pitting also just behind us there. So we've regained P4, and we're well into the top 5 now as we're now on the back of Daniel Ricciardo, and if we overtake him, we'll be into the top 3 here, so that'd be absolutely fantastic as we get a brilliant exit out the right-hander. Once again, similar to Carlos Sainz, we're going to dive one up the inside of this right-hander here and make the move on Daniel Ricciardo there, so an easy overtake on the Honey Badger, and that is us up into the top 3 now, so we're in an upgrade position, which is absolutely fantastic. And we've still got pretty much 20 laps to go, 19 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and we've now got Lewis Hamilton ahead of us. He seems to be going very slowly here, so maybe a bit of a problem for the Mercedes driver, or maybe his tyres are a little bit warm, but nevertheless, we're right on the back of him here. We've set the fastest lap of the race, pretty much 5 laps into our stint, so these tyres aren't exactly new anymore, so it shows how good our pace is. And we're going to go for the dive up the inside of turn 1 here, side by side with Lewis Hamilton. Lewis gives us the room, and he gets the better traction out of the corner there, and he manages to stay ahead of us for the time being. I tried to go for a very inspired Daniel Ricciardo-esque dive bomb from the 2015 Hungarian Grand Prix, but it didn't really quite work out as good as his. But here we go, still battling with Lewis Hamilton here. As you can see, side by side action. We're going to pull off a little switch back, and we're now going side by side into this left-hander. This is going to be a ballsy move where I can make it stick here, and it looks like I've got to let Hamilton go there. It's just too risky to go too wide through there, especially because we're in such a good position at the moment. And I'm just going to wait for my moment, and this could be it right here as we get a lovely exit through the right-hander, but not close enough to make a move on Lewis here. And later on that lap, he actually pits in for his second stop of the race, so he must have been really struggling on those tyres, because you can see he was going visibly much slower than me and Daniel Ricciardo here. And as you can see, moving on to the start of lap 18, Ricciardo now, because of that little battle with Hamilton, he stayed right on my chuff, and now he's going to try and make a move on me with DRS. Even though I've got DRS, the Red Bull power unit, there was a Tag Heuer branded engine really just coming into effect there for the Red Bull driver, and really making a challenge. As you see, he gets past me into turn 1, side by side now into turn 3 or turn 2, and I'm just going to try and hold my inside line here, and actually running a little bit deep actually. So The car just understeered a little bit. Obviously the tyres are a little bit second hand now, so got to keep an eye out for those. But lucky enough, we do manage to stay ahead of Ricciardo for the time being, and we almost hit the pit entry wall. I just realised that was actually really close. But on to the start of lap 19 now. Ricciardo once again has stuck with us throughout the entirety of the lap, and he's going to try and go for the move here. I'm going to give him a good old squeeze to the inside here. Can I make the move? I'm going to try and wait to go back up the inside, but Ricciardo just stays right on the inside line there and goes really defensive, and I can't really overtake him just yet. And that is Ricciardo back up into P2 here. Even though he's got DRS, we are getting in the slipstream. Can we possibly dive one up the inside? No, we can't. There's no room through there at the moment, but Ricciardo, a fantastic move from him, and I just realised I think Rosberg's pit, so this is a battle for the lead here at the Hungarian, as you can see, and just a great battle with Ricciardo so far these last couple of laps, and it's not going to end anytime soon by the look of it, as we get a brilliant run through this left-hander, and we're going to try and go to the outside of Ricciardo there. He squeezes us a little bit almost onto the grass, but we're going to put off a switchback on him here, and now we're going to dive one up the inside of the chicane here. Yes, we are. We're going to go side by side through the chicane. Ricciardo really just sticking with us the entire way here. Fantastic battle at the Hungarian, and Ricciardo eventually takes the inside line through the next corner, and I have to yield and hold off to P2 for now, but hopefully once again we can try and launch another attack on Ricciardo maybe later on this lap here as we go through this right-hander, and similar to a couple of moves I've done before this race and to Ricciardo a couple of laps ago, we get a brilliant run through the right-hander there, and we make the move up the inside of the very next corner, and we manage to get back into the lead of the race and overtake Daniel Ricciardo here. And a couple of corners later onto the start of lap 20, as you see I'm into the lead of the race. Ricciardo's not overtaken us, however I've just got a little bit of traction there, poor traction on the curb, and I've actually spun. I'm now going to hit Ricciardo and lose my front wing, and that has gone really not well at all. That has not really gone well because we was in such a good place. We just took the lead of the race, and I was actually quite comfortable. I thought I could have just pulled away a little bit there, and we was literally about to pit that lap as well, but as you can see, looking at the replay there, I just get all out of control, all out of shape there on the curb and onto the grass, and I can't do nothing about it. Ricciardo there, just literally a passenger for that, but later on that lap we managed to survive without a front wing, and we're still in P3 there, so P3, P4, not too bad to say I didn't have a front wing, but we're going to pit in now, and what we're going to do is we're pitting in about 2 laps earlier than what we really wanted. So what the plan here is, we're going to strap on the set of the mediums, because that was the tyre I was going to go on anyway, and we're going to try and drag these out and go to the end of the race, because that is the only way we're going to salvage anything this race if we want any chance of getting any sort of upgrade, because if I have to do an extra pit stop, I'm going to be very slow at the end of the race. So I really need to just stretch these tyres out, make sure that I don't wear them out too much, I don't put too much force through them, and fingers crossed we can try and put in a shift here and regain those positions. But as you can see, we've dropped all the way down to P13, so we've dropped miles down the field, and actually P15 now, almost P16, so we've dropped so far down the field here. A terrible just I didn't think I'd lose that many positions, but as you can see, we are side by side with Danny Kvyat now on the exit of the pit lane here. I'm just going to switch back to the inside and dive one straight back up the inside of Kvyat here, because we're not having absolutely none of it, and we want to try and fight back here and get some serious points this race and possibly upgrades. And we're going to move later on onto the start of lap 22 or the end of lap 21 here, and we're going to pull off a brilliant exit out the final corner of Felipe Nasr here, and we're just going to open up the DRS, and as you can see, the Sauber actually pulls away from us in a straight line, but we are catching Julian Palmer just ahead of us here, and we're going to try and wait for a move here. We're going to actually dive one up the inside of both of them. A brilliant dive bomb up the inside of turn 1. A little bit of a corner cut into the corner there, getting a bit too much grip on the grass, but we managed to make a double dive bomb up the inside of turn 1, getting past Palmer and Nasr there. So very efficient overtaking from me there, and trying not to lose too much time. And we actually got to go up into P11 because Vettel actually pit as well. So Vettel not really a good race at all here, as meanwhile we dive one up the inside of Carlos Sainz through the chicane, and we're now back up into the point scoring positions. Now I can tell you a lot of these people do have one pit stop left to make this race, so they should get out of the way anyway, but unfortunately they're not getting out of the way anytime soon. I'm having to make the moves on track myself as we get a brilliant exit out the final corner here, side by side with Sergio Perez here, Kevin Magnussen just up the road. We're going to box Perez in to make sure he doesn't get past him. We're going to make this, we're going to take full advantage of it by making a move once again up the inside of turn 1, a double overtake, another one, and literally perfectly timed from me, boxing Perez in there between myself and Kevin Magnussen, and there was no way through for the Mexican driver, and that is us up in the P8, and we're now on the back of Perez's teammate Nico Hulkenberg here, and we're going to pull off a wonderful move once again, just textbook stuff, one of my favourite moves of the race here, just getting a brilliant exit out of the right hand, and then into the very next corner we just dive one up the inside on the brakes there, nice and late on Nico Hulkenberg. But here we are then, a couple laps left to go, and there's Lewis Hamilton, and just ahead of him is Max Verstappen. So if we can overtake both of these cars in the last few laps, my tyres are very second hand now, my tyres are really worn, but if we can pull this off, this would be a fantastic comeback here as we try and go for the late dive up the inside of Lewis Hamilton into turn 1, and what a move that was, the move of the race in my opinion from miles back, even further back than the one we attempted before in the race. So an incredible move on the 3 times world champion. And now moving later on onto the last lap of the race, we're on the back of Max Verstappen. Can we try and dive one up the inside here? We're going to go for it. We're going to go side by side into the braking zone, but Max just gets enough traction on the exit because of my second hand tyres, which are much more worn than his. And it looks like Max is going to hold on to P3 for the time being here. Can we possibly try and challenge into the final corner? We try to pick up some traction, but we're squirming all over the road here as we now go through the final corner and try and pick up traction as soon as I can here. DRS is wide open, but there's nothing I can do. I lose the out the final corner, and we're going to come in for P4 for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Max just holds on to P3, which is a shame, but overall a brilliant comeback drive. And P4 means that we get no upgrades but no downgrades, so that is crucial for us. So moving into the next race in Spa, I believe we're going to have a default setup with the 3 modifications that we unlocked in the last race, so that's not too bad, and they couldn't have got any worse. So as you see, looking at the final race results, Nico Rosberg won in dominant fashion. Didn't see him at all in the race, and Ricciardo's in second place there. So look at that. If we just stayed ahead of Ricciardo and not the crash, we could have well been in contention for the race win there. And also Max Verstappen rounds off the podium for Red Bull, with myself in 4th, Lewis Hamilton in 5th, and then Sebastian Vettel, my teammate, way down in P7 there. So not a good race for him at all, and he'll be really disappointed with that one. With Valtteri Bottas there also in 8th. But looking at the Drivers' Championship, you can see Nico Rosberg is now 25 points clear of myself, and then Vettel 7 points behind me, and then Lewis Hamilton is 10 points behind Vettel. So the top 4 is still very close, and anyone can win the championship out of those 4. But Rosberg is really imposing his authority now in the halfway point of the season. And looking at the constructors standings, you can see that Mercedes have actually overtaken Ferrari once again, and we've lost the first place in the constructors, and we're now 15 points behind Mercedes because of that very poor race from myself and Sebastian Vettel in particular. But looking at the series rules and permutations, you can see that 4th place means no spin of the wheel, so that's fantastic. So we're just going to basically run off the video here, guys. There is no wheel spinning for the next race in Spa, I believe. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed that hectic race. We're going on to like 16 minutes long this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do smash that like button. Let me know that you're really enjoying the videos, and this is probably the best video I've made on Zero to Hero. I really enjoyed this one. And also, if you can subscribe for more races like this, and also have 2016 content in the near future, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, guys, that's about it for this video. I've been Thomas 7HD. I'll see you in my next one very soon. Goodbye.